old, but rather old, and you got to go change the toilet seat on the toilet, and you realize that they used metal screws to install the. This is when you say no, they don't, because you guys have all replaced toilet seats, right? When is the last time you went to replace a toilet seat and you had stainless steel screws or bolts to do that?
They're usually plastic. Well, no, they're not.
When you say never.
Yeah, no, the toilet seats.
I've been changing out toilet seats for the last 30 years, and I don't ever recall using metal screws. So where we live, obviously, is relatively new to us. We haven't been here that long. And your mom, she finally said, she's like, I'm sick of that toilet seat. It's old and it's stupid, and we're not poor, and I'm going to buy a new one. So she bought a new one, and it arrived, and she goes, here you go. Go ahead and install that. She said, I bought it. You install it. Okay, great. So I popped the caps, the plastic caps off of the back, and I look down there, and I say, holy crap. There's metal bolts, nuts and bolts. And, of course, they've probably been there since this house was built in 1978 or 9 or whenever it was built, or 72. I don't know. What color was that that orange carpeting? That's like a circa 1978 kind of. But, of course, they're rusted. Like, totally rusted.
But stainless steel doesn't rust.
Yeah, it does after 40 years.
Didn't you know that? That's what stainless steel is made for.
30 years it does. So, there I am with WD-40. But I got it off. I did. I got it off. I got the one out, and then the other one wasn't coming. I was like, your mom's like, don't break the toilet. I said, no, this seat's coming off regardless, and I'm not going to break the toilet. Because the toilet is a hardcore, serious toilet. It's not one of these newfangled, modern, made in China toilets, right? This toilet was made in Mansfield, Ohio, where God wanted toilets to be made. Actually, you know where the toilet the toilet factory was actually wasn't in Mansfield. It was outside of Mansfield in Perrysville. Remember that, Jared?
I do not remember.
You had to drive by it every time we went to Sailor's house.
Yeah, but I didn't know there was a toilet.
They called it the Pottery.
Oh, yeah. That was a toilet factory?
Yeah. When they had a great big pile of factory rejects and broken toilets out there.
No.
Yeah, so if you ever wanted a piece of, what do they make toilets out of? A crockery. You can have it. So there we go. You're like, what in the HE double hockey sticks did I just tune in for? I thought this was Student of the Gun Radio.
It is.
Welcome. I'm Paul Markle. The other voice you hear is Jared and Zach. And today we're going to talk about your name being on the list. Are you ready for your name to be on a list? You say, well, my name's already on a list. I have a concealed carry permit, and I've filled out 4473s. Oh, no. This is a brand new kind of list. This is the kind of list that that Comrade Lenin and Comrade Stalin would have nodded their heads and been very, very fond of. And also, we've got a Duracoat finished firearm of the week, which I have in my hot little hands. We're going to do all of that stuff right after Zach plays the music.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
So the long story short is, and for those of you who didn't listen on Thursday or Friday, what day did we talk about how to use a squatty potty like a man? Was it Thursday?
Yes.
I think it was Thursday. I'm not breaking my toilet. Toilet's not going to break. Not from me. Not from me sitting on it. All right. Administrative note. There is a brand new episode of Morning Mindset available to you. And there's also a brand new episode of the Legion of Michael podcast available to you. And they are on the exact same platform that you're listening to us on now. Unless you're watching us live, and then, Let people know about the Q&A at the end of the show. I feel like Bill Burr right there. Tell them to ask their questions. Okay, people, there's a Q&A at the end of the show. Ask your questions. Jared, you want to tell people the other PSA about the precision rifle? It's a PRC. It's the PRC, the PSA about the PRC.
Yep, we've got a precision rifle course in August. It's coming up August 6th through the 8th, I believe.
I believe you're correct.
I'm going to click this link that's in the show notes, and it takes me directly to the product page, gives me all the information. Yes, August 6th through the 8th. Those of you that have been listening for a while, you know that food and lodging is included. We take care of you guys while you're here. All you need to do is bring yourself a rifle and some ammo. And there's more. There's a whole gear list and student requirements on this page. You can go read that. If you have any questions, you can let us know at info@studentofthegun.com. And for those of you that are wondering, it is one of my favorite classes that we do. Actually, I think it's probably my favorite because of the nature of the class. I just really I enjoy sitting on a range and doing, I guess this isn't technically sitting, but some of it is sitting on a range and
proning
and standing and whatever. But I just really like having a wide open field in front of me with targets in it that I can just take my time and do what I need to do. So
yes,
one of my favorite classes.
We have a 1,000-yard range here that we have access to, that we will be training on. Well, actually, technically, it's longer.
I was going to say it's 1.5 miles.
Yeah, 1.5 miles, but whatever. What's a few miles between friends?
Yeah.
So that is happening very soon. We have a couple seats left. If you'd like to avail yourself to that, well, you should. Grad program members, obviously, well, maybe not obviously. Grad program members get a significant discount off the cost because you are part of the family. Yes, indeed.
Silencers are more than welcome. So
yes,
bring them. If you got to, bring them.
Cans are preferred. If you've got a can, don't leave it at home. Okay, today, what I have in my hot little hand is I have the Canik TP9 SA. This is the SA Mod 2, so this has been modified slightly from the original SA. And I believe the modification is the slide cut. If you guys know the history of the Caniks, when they came out with the original SAs did not have interchangeable sights. And the slide was a certain size, basically. And when they came out with the SF and the DA and so forth, the slides, they modified the slides so that you could I don't know if you can see that, but you can drift adjust or remove the front and rear sights, and you can put new stuff in them. Let me see. Yeah, this one actually has a tritium front sight and a non-tritium rear sight. So what's so special about this? All right, it's the Golden Tiger. Yeah, the Golden Tiger. So what I did is I applied the Duragold to this, and it was this is confession time. It was when you apply the Duragold, it's actually a 3-step process. And if you want your gun to be gold or chrome look and Durachrome, Duragold, you got to follow the directions very specifically. And I didn't. All right, this is a while ago, so give me a break. Anyway.
Everybody learns somehow.
Everybody learns. Everybody got to learn.
No. I have a better phrase. You're a beginner once.
Yeah, that's right. You're a student for life. So I was a beginner once. Essentially, the gold didn't come out like a gold coin. It looks kind of like honey gold, which is a little bit different. You know, it doesn't look like
a honey badger,
like a bar of gold. It more looks like a honey gold kind of color. And so what I decided to do was I did that as the base. Then I put the tiger stripes over it, and I used slightly darker black to go over the top. So now it has gold or golden tiger stripes. There you go. So it is the Golden Tiger TP9 SA pistol. I really like the TP9 SA pistols. This one I haven't shot as much as my green one. My green one, I've shot literally thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds through with zero problems or malfunctions or anything. The Canic pistols are quite simply rhinoceros tough. They won't quit, and they're a great value for the money. So if you're looking for a striker fired 9mm handgun and you want to spend around $400 or so, I think they during the great insanity, they were up in the 500s, but I believe they've come down back to more normal prices now. I can't. Oh, I guess I could Google or duck it or whatever, but
I'm going there right now.
you're going to duck it. Don't go to Cabela's. Somebody told me, well, I went and I bought this thing at Cabela's the other day and it cost X. I'm like, well, that was your first mistake.
According to the Canic USA website, the TP9SA Mod 2 MSRP is $359.99.
Okay, so Sportsman's Guide and Cabela's all have them listed. Actually, Cabela's has them listed at $379, so they have them listed actually above MSRP.
Yeah. Yep. So $359.99. Well, the TPA9SA Mod 2 is the specific one that I'm looking at. Yeah. So TP9DA. Man, I forgot how many of these they have now.
Oh, there's crazy. There's so many.
Dude, you can get the Elite SC with Shield SM-S2 optic for $699.99 MSRP.
Wow, that's stealing.
Yeah.
That's stealing that. Because that Shield sight goes for $300 by itself. If you were to try and buy one of those all by itself, it would run you $300. So that's a good deal. Anyway, long story short, the TP9SA pistol from Canic USA is a rock solid rhino tough pistol. We've been reviewing these for years, and they just won't quit and they won't break. And you can get this one, the SA, for less than $400. And that's a pistol that's going to last for a long, long, long time. You can pass it down to your grandkids. So
are these dedicated magazines?
Yeah, they're Canic magazines. Yeah. But the good news is there's so many models of Canic pistols out right now. The magazines are plentiful. All right. So there you go. Duracoat Firearm Finishes is where you want to go. If you'd like to sign up for their master class, basically the Duracoat University finishers class, you can go straight there from the link in the show notes. Probably be a good idea if you're a gun tinkerer or a gunsmith, or if you've got an FFL, or if you're just a dude that wants to make his guns look pretty. You know, since I've begun this journey, I probably Duracoated 50 guns. You say that's safe? It's a safe bet.
Yeah, easily.
Probably 50 guns.
Yeah.
So if not 50, at least 40. Oh, so check those guys out. They're good friends. They're a family-owned business at Duracoat Firearm Finishes. All right. Right now, I'm wearing a pistol, and I'm wearing it in a Crossbreed Holsters Reckoning. It's the Reckoning, and it's configured for the belt configuration. Now, you can configure it for an inside of the waistband, but I've configured it for an outside because where I live and how I live, I really don't need to deep conceal a gun. Just don't. Now, if I was going to go somewhere else, I might deep conceal a gun. But for where I live, don't need to do it. So perfectly comfortable. The gun's on me. It's attached to my body all the time, every day. Why would you need a gun where you live? I don't know. Because I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen and what I'm going to encounter when I walk out of my front door, or when I'm driving down the road, or when I'm fishing, or whatever. So if you'd like to be dangerous on demand and actually have a high-quality holster and carry your gun, well, go to crossbreedholsters.com. Make sure you use the promotional code SOTG. When you do that, you're going to save some money. You're going to get a good holster. You're going to be a happy camper. It's going to be a win-win-win situation all the way around. Last but certainly not least in the hit parade of fan favorites, our good buddies at Brownells at brownells.com. If you have not signed up for their newsletter or texted BRN to 556-223, you really should, because they will let you know as soon as they have any kind of ammo in stock. And that's becoming more frequent, I've noticed, Jared. The, hey, attention, we have ammo in stock notifications have become more frequent here as of late, the last couple of weeks or so. Here's what I see with ammo, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul putting on his amazing Sarnak hat here. And I wish I had an envelope like Carson did. I take the envelope, I hold it to my head. 5.56,
Yep.
9mm, and 223. Question is, will I ever be able to buy this ammo again? No, actually, I think the retailers and the wholesalers are nervous. See, what you freaks, not you freaks, but your freak neighbors and freak relatives and freak cousins and stuff, they're kind of doing that waiting thing for ammo to come down.
They're doing the goats.
Yeah, they're
Sorry, that was a reference from the Waiting movie.
Yeah, okay. So the goat. They're doing the goat. No. The reason that the prices aren't, you say, well, Paul, you're telling me that ammo is available, that it's there, it's on the shelves, it's in the stores. So why is it still so expensive? Because here's what they know. They know that if they drop the price back down to 2019 prices, half of you mongoloids will jump in, buy 10,000 rounds or 2,000 rounds or whatever. You and all your buddies will jump in there, you'll buy it, and it'll be gone again. And they'll be like, F. So they're the wholesalers and retailers, and they're being really cautious. The prices are coming down, but they're coming down slowly. Kind of like gas after a hurricane. So the gas goes from $1.99 to $2.99 overnight. But does it come back down? Like, does it go from $2.99 to $1.99 overnight? No, it never does. Does it? No. What it does is it comes down 2 cents and 2 cents and 2 cents and 2 cents and 2 cents. And that's what I'm seeing with the ammo business right now. You're like, well, it was $1.25 a shot. Now it's 75 cents a shot. It should be 30 cents a shot. It should. That's the reality price is 30 cents a shot, or I guess you could say the optimum price.
Do you think it'll go back that far?
Well, there's a number of factors. A, if we can stop panic buyers. See, all the panic buyers who panic bought their first gun and bought 4 boxes.
Yeah, I was going to say we had a perfect storm last year. We had panic buyers and new gun buyers.
We had panic buyers, new gun buyers, and then we had the seasonal. We had already the experienced guys. They're like, F that. I'm not letting all these newbies buy up all the ammo. I'm going to get it too. So it was the perfect storm. I'm wondering how many more new gun buyers the industry can squeeze out of the American population. You know what I mean? If now that we're in June of 2021, I have to look out at the country and say, okay, is there anybody in America that over the last year and a half was thinking, I'm going to buy a gun, that either didn't do it or is going to, right? I kind of feel like if people were going to panic buy guns, they would have done it all the way up to now, right? They would kind of be there already. I mean, with all the riots last summer and the COVID and the this and the that and everything, I have to believe that the rush out and panic buy a gun crowd pretty much satisfied. Now, I might be wrong, but I don't know how many more panic gun buyers there could possibly be in America. I mean, we had like a 300% increase in 1 year period. A normal increase over a normal year is 3 to 5%. Normal, not insane world is 3 to 5%. And last year, I think we increased it like 300% or something like that. It was crazy. That's why the industry can't keep up, and that's why they couldn't keep up with ammo and yada yada. So, are the prices coming down? Yes, but they're coming down incrementally in little tiny, like every month it drops a nickel around, whether it's 9-ball or 5.56 or whatever. You're like, well, hell, man, these lunatics over at Lower Than Dirt were charging $2 a round for 9mm. Now it's only $1.20 a round for 9 from them. Wow.
I can tell you from my perspective, I have not been contacted. I do a lot of things, and one of those things is I have connections with people that run advertising agencies, and so they contact me. I find places to put their stuff based upon their clients' needs. And so what I got yesterday or 2 days ago is I got contacted from an agency, actually 2 different agencies that represent ammunition manufacturers. I haven't had that in the last 18 months. So that means that the ammunition manufacturers are now starting to look for advertising.
They're actually wanting
avenues,
customers.
Yeah. And so, because they were like in the last 18 months, they haven't needed to do any advertising or promotions or whatever, because they couldn't fulfill the orders in the first place.
You could print up, if you're a new ammo company in 2020, you could put a you could put a poop emoji on your box and just say, and call it poop ammo, 50 rounds 9-ball, and sell it for $100. You could have done that.
3 times reloaded. It still works. It's fine.
Yeah.
That dent in the case. Nah, it's fine.
Zach, did you catch that and write the time down? Okay. But yeah, like last year, you literally could just come out as poop ammo, and here you go. You want it or you don't. You either want it or you don't. If you got last year, I saw people taking pictures of boxes of ammo from companies that I never heard of in my life. And I've heard of a lot of them because I kind of pay attention to the industry.
There were some local ranges.
Where?
Go ahead.
What? To what? Where did this ammo come from? Who is this company? I've never heard of them before.
Yeah.
So those companies, all right, so the crazy is over and it's kind of tapering off. So now where are people going to gravitate back toward? They're going to gravitate back towards the brands that they know. So if you are, the poop emoji ammo company, how do you compete now with Federal and Winchester and, CCI and so forth? You don't compete with Black Hills because they're a totally different category. So that is my state of the industry ammo for you guys. And let's go ahead and move on. I'm getting the little wave thing from myself saying, hey, Paul, move on. All right. I just told myself to move on. We got to follow up real quick. I wanted to follow up from our story about the Release the Hounds last Thursday. We had a story essentially about how the dope smoking hippie freaks in Colorado, lit mostly in Denver and Boulder, voted to re-release predators that have been gone into the wild. Of course, this won't affect them because they live in Boulder and Denver and the greater Denver area and Golden and whatever. Now, we're just going to screw over the farmers and ranchers and, and the elk herds and the moose herds. They're like, oh, no, they're good for management because we have to. No, actually, we've been working. If you do some research, the Western states have been working very diligently since the 90s to bring back the elk herds and to increase the elk herds and to increase the moose and so forth. Well, they reintroduced the wolves up in the northern corner of Wyoming around the, basically Jackson. What's the park up there? Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And well, if you read the research, the moose herd dropped from 40,000 animals to 7.
What?
So now the moose herd is in danger. Why do you suppose that would be?
7,000.
7,000. Yeah, from 40,000 to 7,000. Not 7 animals.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, what?
No, 40. So from 40,000 to 7,000, since the reintroduction of the wolves. Same thing is happening with the elk herd. It's happening in Idaho. It's happening in Montana. It's happening in Wyoming. So Colorado's like, ooh, me too. We can destroy our moose and elk herd. How can we do that? Let's reintroduce predators. But that aside, this is what I didn't mention on Thursday. So in the New York Times story, the very last paragraph, it says, Colorado is moving to increase the wolf population and in November became the first state to vote on whether to bring back a native species. Voters narrowly approved a ballot because everyone not in Boulder and Denver said, no, that's a stupid idea. And all the dope smoking hippie idiots in Denver, Boulder, and Golden said, no, man, like the wolves are like sacred to the Native Americans, man.
Dude, it's 2021.
Dude.
Nobody smokes weed anymore.
So yes, they do.
You
Go
have
to Vegas.
You have to come up with a different thing, like grabbing gummies or something.
No, go to Vegas and
I
walk
know.
through a hotel room, and you're like, what?
Oh yeah.
Or walk through the hallway in a hotel. Anyway,
Walk through a hotel room. Okay.
In a hallway. Voters narrowly approved, blah, 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 blah. This is how I want you to understand the liberal mentality. So the final sentence, after talking all about this, reintroduce the gray wolves and how wonderful and ecosystem and blah, 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 blah. The last sentence, this is illustrative of the Democrat liberal mindset. The commission was also instructed to set up a fund to compensate ranchers for any livestock the wolves might kill. First of all, saying wolves might kill, wolves, we don't know for sure that they're going to kill sheep and calves and livestock. We don't know that for sure.
What's the commission called?
The Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission. So in a nutshell, and I'm not going to belabor this because we have another story to talk about, but in a nutshell, here it goes. Here is Democrat liberal state thinking for you. We don't have a problem with predators now, but we're going to create one. But it's okay because we're going to use tax money to pay for the problem that we're going to create. That's Democrat liberal thinking. Well, right now, we don't have a problem with predators killing livestock. Well, we're going to create one, and we know that. You're like, oh, we don't know that the wolves will kill the calves and sheep and stuff. We only have 10,000 years of recorded history of wolves killing domestic livestock. All right? We only have 10,000 years of human history where you say if you introduce or create a predator problem, that's what's going to happen. So it's no big deal because we're gonna set up a fund to compensate ranchers when the problem that we created affects them. How many of you guys out there have ever dealt with the government? Do you like dealing with the government? Now, unless you're a fifth generation Detroit resident that has the free card with the free money on it and stuff like that, most people don't want to deal with the government and would rather not. So, Jared, where does the government get money for its funds?
The Federal Reserve.
So they just go into the government's bank and they're like, we're going to go into the government's bank and take the money out of the government's bank and give it to the ranchers. No, it's a tax. So what they just said is, we might. They might. The predators might kill defenseless livestock. We don't know that. You can't prove that that'll happen. Okay, whatever. But when they do, because we actually know that they're going to, it'll be okay because we're going to have a fund. Where did you get the money for the fund? Well, we're going to have to increase taxes. to put into that fund. So
They're not going to allocate from somewhere else.
So we don't, they're not going to go into it like, oh, no, that money's already spoken for. We got to get new money. Well, where do you get the new money from? And Jared, in this case, where do they get the new money from? Are they going to go to the dope smoking hippie idiots in Boulder and Golden and Denver and get the money from them? The ones that actually voted for this crap? No. If you're the Parks and Wildlife Commission, here's what you do. You look at all the fees, because you can't hunt the king's deer without permission from the king, right? You can't hunt the king's elk or the king's whatever. You can't fish in the king's streams without his permission. So how do you get money for your new fund? Well, we just raise the price of the king's permission slips. We just raise the taxes on permission to hunt deer and permission to hunt elk and permission to hunt whatever, and we get it from the hunters. So the same dudes that you're effing by introducing the wolf population that's going to make it harder to hunt elk and moose and etc., those same dudes that you're already effing, I can say effing, right? That you're already fornicating, right? So the same guys that you're fornicating by releasing the wolves to harass the elk and moose population, those are the guys you're going to raise the prices on for permission slips to go do that. Congratulations. And you know what's sad to me, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, is how this isn't really about wolves. It's about the mentality of the state. It's about the mentality of the liberal Democrat state that says, hey, we don't have a problem currently, but, well, we're going to create one. Well, then just don't create the problem. No, we want to do that. Well, what's your solution? Well, the solution is just take more money from the people and fix the problem that we created. Now, I brought this up over at the Student of the Gun Facebook page, and there were people that jumped in there. Maybe you need to stick to guns and leave the wildlife conservation to the experts. The point I'm making is not about wildlife conservation. And I don't claim to be a conservationist. But here's what I do know. I do know liberals. And I do know the liberal mentality. And the liberal mentality is this. Well, it's okay to create a problem because we're going to take money from the people and fix the problem that we created. And something else that's one of our fans brought it out. He goes, so at this point, we don't have a problem. But Jared, he said, who's going to hand out this money to the ranchers? Who's going to go through the forms? Who's going to talk to the ranchers and give them the forms that they have to fill out in order to get compensation for their animals that were killed by the wolves that we released? And I said, well, I don't know. I guess what they'll probably have to do, Jared, is they'll say, what'll they say? Oh, we don't have the staff to handle this. We need to hire more people. Well, where are you going to get money to pay those people? Oh, it's no big deal. We'll just take more tax money from the stupid peasants, and we'll use that money to pay these guys that we hire to deal with the problem that we created. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Democrat state mentality.
Okay, I found it. I've been looking since you stated how they're going to pay for this. I've been looking, and I found it. All right.
How are they going to pay for it?
I'm in the estimate of fiscal impact for Proposition 14 section of this document called Blue Book English for Web 2020. But so this is the actual summary of the proposition. It's actually the entire proposition, but this is specifically the estimate of fiscal impact. says Proposition 114 increases state spending by approximately $300,000 in state budget year 2021 to 2022. And by the way, this is on LEG, which is legislature.colorado.gov. So this is the official document.
And you said 21 to 22.
Yeah. I'm going to
$300,000.
$300,000 in 2021 to 2022.
Okay.
And $500,000 in state budget year 2022 to 2023. So
$300,000 jump in 1 year.
300,000 in the first year, 500,000 in the second year. It says for public outreach and development of a gray wolf reintroduction plan beginning in state budget year 2023-2024, spending will increase to about 800,000 per year for the implementation of the wolf reintroduction plan. Implementation costs will only be incurred if federal approval is received or gray wolves are no longer listed as endangered species and the state is able to begin its reintroduction plan. Costs will be paid primarily from hunting and fishing license fees or appropriations made by the state legislature. Actual state spending will depend on the details of the plan developed by the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission and the amount of livestock losses caused by wolves.
Which they have no idea of right now.
Right, yeah.
Because they haven't even done it yet. Yeah. So they're just estimating. So 300 plus 500 plus 800 plus. So that's $1.6 million in additional spending. That's not, well, that's the total budget that we have. No. That's more money than they're taking in and spending now over a period of just 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about, and we're not talking about the federal government, that we're talking about a state.
Hey, Zach, will you do me a favor? Can
What's
you
up?
Google and see if Proposition 116 passed in Colorado? So on the same ballot, this is actually interesting to me. And it shows that the separation between like income tax and the hunting and fishing permits. So Proposition 116 on the ballot was for a, let me see, essentially a decrease in the income tax for Colorado. It says Proposition 116 reduces the state income tax from 4.63% to 4.55% for tax year 2020 and future years. And so it's interesting that they're able to do that where they separate the, hunting and fishing licenses and they know about how much they're going to get from that so that they can introduce something like the gray wolf management plan. Mm-hmm. But also at the same time where they're increasing spending here, they're reducing the state income tax from 4.63 to 4.55. It's pretty interesting.
Apparently it has been approved.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 114 and 116 were approved at the same time. Interesting.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, the people, and if I've done kind of an impromptu survey, but I know hunters, and I can tell you that the vast majority of people who live in Colorado who buy hunting licenses did not vote for the wolf release.
Right.
So the people who voted against it are the one who are going to be punished by the bill. So the people who voted for it, who endorsed the plan, have no vested interest in paying for that plan that they created. So they created talk about taxation without representation. So you got a bunch of inner city dope smoking imbeciles who vote for something, who create a problem, and then wash their hands. They're like, well, I don't care. Not going to cost me a dime. Those guys, those mean evil, and I can tell you how hippie, dope smoking Democrat liberal scumbags think. Well, good. Those hunter guys should have to pay more money. They should pay for it. Okay. Moving on. Take that and digest it as you will. Jared, we got a story from westernjournal.com here. In case you've been sleeping under a rock and haven't been paying attention, Sleepy Joe's handlers gave him another set of talking points. So the dementia patient who's pretending to be the president of the United States, his handlers, I don't know if it was his Chinese handlers or his Democrat Party handlers, or maybe a combination of the two. If you think about it, this probably came from the minds of his Chinese handlers. Well, he's going to create a list. And Jared, I want you to read this story. This story is from June 16th, so it's relatively new, from thewesternjournal.com. You got it open?
Biden admin takes card from Nazi Germany, asks Americans to report potentially radicalized friends and family. Throughout former President Donald Trump's tenure, his opponents on the left continually tried to paint him as a dictator. Many went as far as to compare him to Adolf Hitler, one of the evilest. The evilest? Is that
the
a real
most
word?
evil? I would say most evil, but anyway.
One of the most evil tyrants in the history of the world. That's the first time I've ever seen the word evilist.
Evilist.
Okay. That completely discredited this story. No. The Washington Post published an article on July 16th, 2018, headline, "It's not wrong to compare Trump's America to the Holocaust. Here's why." It argued that while Trump was not pursuing a mass genocide, the Trump administration could be compared to Nazi Germany because they both used quote unquote humanizing language, and quote unquote child detention centers were compared to quote unquote concentration camps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing.
These accusations are obviously ridiculous, and yet they were relatively common among members of the established media during Trump's presidency. Are we ever going to get to that? What this story's about? It seems hypocritical then that the established media would ignore a strategy from the Biden administration taken straight out of the playbook of Nazi Germany, and yet that is exactly what they're doing right now. According to the White House transcript, I'm going to open that in a new tab.
From Monday,
an unidentified senior official in the Biden administration discussed plans meant to curb domestic terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, "This involves creating contexts in which those who are family members or friends or coworkers known that there are pathways and avenues to raise concerns and seek help for those who they have perceived to be radicalizing and potentially radicalizing towards violence." End quote.
Mm-hmm.
That was from the unidentified senior official. In other words, the Biden administration is actively encouraging American citizens to report their friends and family to the government if they perceive them to be too radical.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly constitutes radical behavior? The official did not clarify it. That was my first question when I read the headline. It's like, well, what is radical behavior?
Don't worry, they'll tell you. The government will tell you.
Yeah.
The state will tell you what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say.
The official did not clarify, but considering all the talk from Democrats about Trump presenting a threat to democracy, it would be hard to trust their judgment. This, let's see. Quote, "Biden began his presidency with a stark warning in his inauguration speech about the rise in political extremism, white supremacy, domestic terrorism that we must confront and we will defeat."
Mm-hmm.
End quote. That was from Breitbart's Charlie Spearing. On June 1st, Biden described the threat from white supremacy as the most lethal threat to the homeland today.
Yep, sure. Mm-hmm.
Given the left's tendency to call everything it doesn't like white supremacy, there is no telling what might constitute radical or dangerous behaviors in their minds.
All right, let's go ahead and let me comment right there. We warned you. I warned you last year about the dangers of this turning your neighbor crap. New York City, California, I don't know, and then I know there were others. Michigan, who during COVID set up tip lines. Hey, is your neighbor not wearing their mask? Did they go out of their house unnecessarily? Have you seen your neighbor come and go without a good reason? Call 1-800 turn in your neighbor. We talked about this at length here on this show. And here's the scary thing. Humans change and alter their behavior based upon conditioning. If you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. Just live with it. Humans are and Jared, how many times have we talked about this? How did the National Socialist German Workers' Party, that's abbreviated as Nazi, how did over a period of 10 years, they convinced the average German citizen that it was okay to call the Gestapo and have your neighbors taken away in the middle of the night. How did they convince him that that was okay? And I posed this question, I don't know, maybe it was a year or more ago. I said, how many of you believe that in 1942, 1943 Germany, that people didn't know, the people who were ringing up the Gestapo, the secret police, the Sicherheitsdienst, the Schuhstaffel, or whatever, they ringing them up because they saw the flyer, tell us, is your neighbor a threat to the fatherland? How many of those people who made those phone calls do you think were completely ignorant and didn't know that when their neighbors, the Rosenbergs, got scooped up and taken away in the middle of the night, that they weren't ever coming back? How many of those people do you believe didn't realize or were completely ignorant of the fact that they were sending their neighbors literally to death camps? And it's funny because in our modern world, some people are like, well, I don't think that they were. Well, what were they doing? So the people who made the calls, who called the Gestapo, and this didn't just happen in Nazi Germany. You see, ladies and gentlemen, if you study world history, you will understand that this is straight out of the totalitarian playbook. This has happened in every single totalitarian state, whether it was Italy under Mussolini, whether it was Russia, Soviet Union under Stalin, look directly to our neighbor to the south, Venezuela. Central America in the 90s, when we had the potential communist takeover of Nicaragua and Honduras and so on and so forth. Go to the east, go to Vietnam. During the reign of the communists in Vietnam, village elders and teachers and stuff, they just went away. They were taken to re-education camps because someone made a phone call or an accusation or what have you. Well, those people, they're not down with the program, man. They're questioning the government.
I'm going to read some from this background press call by senior administration officials on the National Strategy of Countering Domestic Terrorism. It's a whitehouse.gov document from June 14th, 2021. Down the little ways, it says, for the first time, the Department of Homeland Security has designated domestic violent extremism as a national priority area within the Department of Homeland Security grant program. And that means that more than $77 million will be allocated to the state and local and other partners to prevent, protect against, and respond to domestic violence. State, local, and other partners. I wonder what the other partners means. In addition, the Department of Defense is incorporating training for service members separating or retiring from the military who may potentially be targeted by those who seek to radicalize them. We will work to improve public awareness of federal resources to address concerning or threatening behavior before violence occurs. And on that, I would just note that one of the things we're talking about is the need to do something in this space, like the see something, if you see something, say something concept that has been promulgated previously by DHS. This involves creating contexts in which those who are family members or friends or coworkers known that are the pathways and avenues to raise concerns and seek help for those who have perceived to be radicalizing and potentially radicalizing towards violence. We will also be inaudible efforts to address online terrorist recruitment and the mobilization to violence through increased information sharing with the technology sector and through the creation of innovative approaches to fostering digital literacy and building resilience.
You stop with that right
to
now.
Terrorist recruitment and mobilization.
I don't want to hear any more lies from Washington, D.C. I don't want to hear any more fucking propaganda from Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, see something, say something. All right. Someone saw something and said something about that crap bag. Yeah, I swore, freaking fix it or whatever. That crap bag in Florida. Remember that? Remember when that crap bag in Florida went on YouTube and said his plans were to be a school shooter? And someone contacted the FBI and said, hey, I see something. I'm saying something. What did the FBI do? Hey, we're too busy trying to knock out Trump's presidency here. We can't be bothered with that. The sheriff's department. This kid is a dangerous piece of crap. You've had to go to his house 93 times. Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have we come to this microphone, Jared, and reported after a mass murder, and we say, oh, which one was it? There was just one, and they're like, well, yeah, he was on the watch list. What? Well, yeah, he was on the watch list. I can't even remember the number of times that we've come on here and we said, okay, this guy did this, right? And I wonder what their background is. Oh, well, that guy, yeah, he actually was out on probation on his 7th felony arrest. You got people walking around free on probation after 6, 8, 10 violent felonies. But the government doesn't care about them. You see, your government will open up the prisons and let people walk out because of the flu. Oh, it's not the flu, it was COVID. And the only way to keep prisoners safe is to release them out onto the streets. Hang on a second. So you have to open up the jails and prisons and let the prisoners walk to keep them safe, because keeping them inside and contained in one building is dangerous. Yes. But the people of California, of New York, of you name it, Michigan, they have to stay in lockdown in their houses in order to not get the vid. Yes. The same government that has no problem with leftists and their minions in the BLM and the Antifa burning cities to the ground. Never, ever forget that. Sniffy Joe, the dementia patient, went out and said and endorsed the behavior of the BLM and Antifa, saying that protest is a fundamental right of the American people. Jared, did not Sniffy Joe's freaking Justice Department go and bargain down felony charges against literally thousands of people who had been arrested for rioting last summer and give them time served and probation? We talked about that. So if you're a registered Democrat voter and you want to burn down a city because you're offended, then that's okay. Washington, D.C. and Sniffy Joe will call that a time-honored protest. But if you are an enemy of the established state, that means if you actually believe the Constitution says what it says, if you believe in taxation only with representation, if you believe that the Bill of Rights was written so that the government can go fornicate itself and that those are inalienable rights, you're radicalized. And we need to put you on an enemies list. Jared, and everyone in my and Zach, and everyone in my listening audience, every totalitarian regime in the history of the world that has created an enemies list or a list of unreliable persons did so under the guise of national and community safety. The Nazis did it. The Soviet communists did it. They did it in Southeast Asia. Every single place this has been done, it has been done for safety and the security of the state. And the fact that every journalist in America is not burning down this administration over this is scary. they're not even hiding it anymore. They're not even hiding it. The government should not be making up lists of people. When people who protest against a fraudulent presidential election are considered a threat and radicalized, but people who literally burn down cities are not. Are you ready to go on the list? This is crazy. You're living in a country where you've got a ruling class reading straight out of the totalitarian playbook. I got a question for you guys out in my audience. Are the fences and barbed wire still up around the Capitol? Or do they take them all down? I know it's a rhetorical question. All right. Do we have any questions from the audience?
I do not see any. Jared, did you see any?
I haven't seen any.
All right, then.
Yeah. If you're not upset about a government official coming out and promoting a hardcore, a Nazi-esque turn in your neighbor program, remember this. What did he say? Well, we need to stop these people before anything happens. So what are you going to charge them with? Words? You're going to charge them? So we're going to arrest you because you spoke words of which the government does not approve. Jared, didn't the Supreme Court just 9-0 throw out and announce that warrantless searches and seizures of firearms? Because that's what red flag law is. Remember, we warned you about this. I said, it's not about actual behavior. It's about thoughts. If your neighbor doesn't like the things you post on Facebook, if your neighbor doesn't like the things you say, then they can turn you in. And that doesn't bother you guys in the audience. That doesn't bother America. It doesn't bother America that your government is talking about, if they're talking about it, that means it's already in the works. You guys understand that, right? If they've admitted it publicly, that means they've actually already been working it up in the background. And you don't have a problem with the government collecting a list, an enemies list. That's what this boils down to. Don't be naive. Oh, no, they just want to prevent domestic terrorism. You mean like the tens of thousands of BLM and Antifa scumbags who have been assassinating police officers, burning down buildings, like them, assaulting people, robbing businesses? No, that's constitutionally protected protest. We're talking about people with Trump flags and MAGA hats. Those are the people that we need to watch out for. Okay. All right. I'm telling you, history repeats itself when you get lazy and you allow it to happen. And every totalitarian regime in the history of the world has played this game. And every one of them has disguised it as public safety. Every single one. But we're different. This is different. And it's all about safety and community security and so forth. Okay. All right. No questions? All right. We're going to go ahead and put the cap in this one. Wednesday, Texas goes big. We can finally report to you that it is official. Texas is a constitutional carry state. We'll have a Brownells bullet points for you and a student of the gun homeroom, all that and more on Wednesday. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio,
or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
All right, and that is the first episode of today's recording.
All right. What time is it? 20. I just need 5.
Okay. Are we go with 5?
I don't need to dookie or anything like that. So.
All right, guys,
Yeah,
we'll be back.
I've got that meeting at 11:30. So.
All right. So.
We'll be able to wrap it up in an hour.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
All right, see you guys soon.
Whatever.
5 minute.
5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right.
However, for smaller ammunition companies, it might be different. So
You're a smaller ammunition company.
I'll have to check.
Well, I can tell you that I'm seeing. Here's what I'm getting.
What are you getting?
I'm getting almost daily advertisements from these online companies telling me that they have ammo in stock and
Yeah.
please order it. And that is telling.
Yes, absolutely. And agencies reaching out is very telling.
Yeah. So
maybe this ammo manufacturer probably supplies these online companies.
mm-hmm.
So maybe for the manufacturers, it's not slowing down, but the companies aren't getting as
well.
many.
Without going into too much detail, the pre-order that you did last fall,
Yeah.
is that getting ready to be fulfilled, or
it's I checked on it, and that's kind of why this came up. I checked on it, and it said, "I do not have an ETA at this time. As soon as I see some, I will grab them for you."
Okay. Yeah, because I thought last fall it was going to be delivered in April or May.
Yeah. It was a 4-month minimum from when we actually finalized the order. The order was finalized at the mid or end of January.
Oh,
February,
was it?
March, April, May. So end of May would have been the
June.
minimum.
June is a 6 month, yeah. So, all right. Not that we're hurting or anything, but it'd be cool. No, the what I said the other day, like finding the 308 in bandoliers was a good find.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, by the way, if we're still live.
We are still live.
Thank you guys that are using Amazon Smile to support Star Treatments. I just got an email.
Kidding.
I just got an email that said that Star Treatments just received a $468.79 donation just from the purchases that are ran through Amazon Smile. So it costs no extra to you, the buyer. It's Amazon sets aside. If you use Amazon Smile and select Star Treatments as your preferred charity, they set aside a percentage, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But Amazon Smile's impact to Star Treatments has been over $5,000 so far. So thank you guys.
We can do better. And
yeah.
I kind of am embarrassed that we haven't mentioned it more, so we need to do that.
Yeah. We could do that on the show. I'll put it in the notes.
I think we're allowed.
Zach's got it. Thanks, dude.
Speaking of our long-haired hippie freak bass playing friend, he was in Michigan the other day.
Yeah, I saw he's back on the road.
Yeah, he's playing with what's his nuts, the Slipknot guy,
Corey Taylor. Oh, nice.
He's doing a 6-week tour with him, then breaking, and then picking up with Pop Evil.
Sweet.
Doing 2 months of Pop Evil.
Did you see the lineup for like Hellfest or whatever the hell it's called in France?
No.
Oh.
Did you see
man.
for the at the Mansfield Reformatory?
No.
They're doing a weekend music festival at the Mansfield Reformatory.
Pop Evil is?
Well, they're going to be like them plus 50 other bands.
I think this is going to be the year for awesome concerts because after the last 18 months, people are like, I want to go to awesome concerts. Yeah, I was looking at this
the Reformatory thing is it's called like something with ink. Oh, it's called the Incarceration because it's a tattoo festival and rock and roll show held at the Reformatory.
Rock concert, Incarceration. Let's see who's on this sucker. Mastodon. Holy crap, they're still touring. Slipknot,
about the radio
Killswitch
show.
Engage, Steel Panther. Woo.
Yeah, Steel Panther. I saw that.
If you like to see boobs, go to that concert.
Because women show Steel Panther their boobs all the time.
Oh yeah, they're very, very good at coercing women into boobs. Ice 9 Battlefield. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah, the Hellfest thing is Metallica, System of a Down, Korn, Deep Purple, Deftones, Dropkick Murphys, Judas Priest, like Volbeat.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone who's everyone in the rock biz.
Hey, Steel Panther's there too.
So yeah, the Incarceration thing is September 11th.
How appropriate.
Yep. At the Reformatory. Right in our old stomping grounds.
September 11th. Alex wanted to go back to Ohio in September.
So, and you know what your sister,
Rob Zombie, nice.
Your sister's going to be visiting when they're in SLC.
Pop Evil?
Yeah, the closest they're going to be to us is SLC.
Well, yeah, they're not going to perform in Wyoming.
No, they're not going to perform in Wyoming. Well, they did. They performed in Casper previously.
Oh, well, yeah, yes, Casper. That's the only place you really.
They should have performed. I'm kind of surprised they don't perform in Laramie with all the college kids there, but maybe college kids don't know about people.
/ is there anywhere to host them?
Yeah, the college.
The Depot. Is that where we went last time?
No, the Depot is actually right across it's right across the street from the Vivint Smart Arena.
Okay.
Where we went to wrestling. Remember that, Zach?
Yeah.
When we were waiting for your mom to pick us up, and right across the street was the train depot?
Yeah, I remember that.
They're going to be in Kettering, Ohio. Wow.
We need to start the show.
Yeah.
We should do the show.
Sorry, yeah, I have 58 minutes until I have to be on the call.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, all right. Dad, you're going to start us off in 3, 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wednesday's episode of Student of the Gun Radio. Congratulations to you for being here, for making the excellent decision to, you made one good decision today. Congratulations to you. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Texas, what's going on in Texas. It took you long enough. That's me. It's like Paul's been talking about this for years. They finally did it. You're welcome. Brownell's both going.
Except you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome? And of course, a Dangerous on Demand Student of the Gun homeroom, all that and more goodness today on Student of the Gun Radio. Please.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. During the break, we were talking about smile.amazon.com. It's smile.amazon.com. That is their charity arm. And Star Treatments. What is Star Treatments? If you don't know, pay attention. Our good buddy Matt Dorito, bass player extraordinaire for Pop Evil, started a charity to assist children and their families, sick children, to get to treatment. And as somebody who's had to go down that road, I can tell you that to get treatment for whether it's childhood diseases or cancer or whatever, getting from your house to there is often a burden. And so what Matt has done is he set up a charity called Start Treatments, where he arranges for kids who have to get cancer treatment or other treatments to get free of charge transportation in limos, tour buses, all kinds of cool stuff. But it's a charity and it doesn't run for free. And if you would like to help support them, it is 100% wonderful, fantastic charity. Go to smile.amazon.com, choose Star Treatments as your default charity, and then every time you make a purchase, you know you're going to anyway, they will set aside some money for Star Treatments, and it doesn't cost you one single penny. It doesn't cost you anything. You're going to get the stuff that you're going to buy anyway, and at the same time, you're going to be making a donation to a very, very worthwhile charitable organization. We've been supporting Star Treatments for many years now. If you are feeling super generous and you actually want to give money or donate money, on the shop SOTG.com, there's a up button. You can donate it. You can choose to donate an additional $1 or $2 or $5 or whatever, and that goes straight to them. We do not get a cut of that. Or you can just buy a coffee mug, and then the proceeds from the coffee mug sales will go to them. There you go. Something else we were talking about is that our good buddy Matt is finally back on the road after all of the manufactured crisis garbage that we had to go through during the last year. they're finally back on the road and they're touring all summer. So if you get a chance to check out Pop Evil, their tour date, it's really hard. Just go to Pop Evil and click the word tour dates, and there you go. Find out if they're near you. I highly recommend, if they are near you, that you take the chance to go see them, because they're a good band. They're great live. They're fantastic live. We've seen them, 2, 3, 4 times live, something like that.
More than one, less than 1,000, probably.
That's more than one, less than 100. That's right. All right. Brownell's Bullet Points, brought to you by Brownell's this week. All right, this is what we kind of teased you with a little bit last week. We didn't have all the full details in front of our eyeballs last week, but we have them in front of our eyeballs today. So, Jared, would you want to read the AmmoLand story? This is June 10th, dated June 10th from ammoland.com.
Brownell's offers limited edition Henry rifle. I don't think that's right. Oh, yeah, it is. Duh.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry, I was already down at the SOTG homeroom.
Nope.
All righty. Yeah. Brownell's offers limited edition Henry rifle. It says Brownell's will offer a limited number of the special commemorative Henry Golden Boy lever action 22 LR rifles made to honor Iowa's own Harold Pye Keller. A U.S. Marine during World War II, Keller participated in the iconic American flag raising at Mount Suribachi during the Battle of Iwo Jima. But his involvement in the important historical event was accidentally overlooked until very recently. The commemorative rifles are exclusively distributed by Crow Shooting Supply, with Brownells receiving 10 for sale on Brownells.com and an additional 10 for sale in the Brownells retail store in Grinnell, Iowa.
We know where that is.
Yep. 17 miles from Keller's hometown. Sweet. The rifle is number 100-042-669 at Brownells.com and retails for $699.99. That is not $700.
That's right.
Each Harold Pye Keller
Pye being his nickname.
Yes. Commemorative Henry lever action has a walnut stock engraved with the image of Keller atop Mount Suribachi, with the famous flag raising in the background. The date, February 23rd, 1945, appears on the design with Keller's name in a flowing scroll banner beneath the image. Henry Repeating Arms will contribute $50 of every rifle sold to the Brooklyn Community Foundation, a local organization raising money to pay for a monument to honor Keller. In addition, Henry Repeating Arms will auction the Pye Keller commemorative rifle with serial number 001 on gunbroker.com starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on June 14th. Too late.
So you need to get on that.
Yep. Which is actually
sorry.
Yeah, which is also Flag Day.
Yep.
Proceeds of that auction will also be used to support erecting the monument to Keller. The fact that Pye was misidentified for over 76 years is a testament to the man's humility. No kidding.
Said Anthony Imperato.
Yep. President and owner of Henry Repeating Arms. He never came forward as one of the flag raisers, not even to his kids, and I look forward to visiting the memorial to pay my respects to this incredible man in person. We are honored to recognize a true hometown hero who made history by raising the American flag of the island of on the island of Iwo Jima more than 75 years ago, said Pete Brownell, chairman of Brownells. The image of the flag raised has become a symbol of valor and unity in the United States. It's fitting to have Pye Keller's heroics memorialized on another American icon, the Henry rifle, as it benefits a new memorial to Brooklyn, Iowa's hometown hero.
Well, there you go. That is very cool. I have actually been to, there's two big Iwo Jima memorials. There's the one in Washington, D.C. I'm not sure if you guys are allowed to go to it now, if it's roped off or fenced off or whatever. But I've been to the big one, and it's pretty freaking awe-inspiring. And then there's a smaller one that I've been to, well, because it's on Paris Island, so kind of, yeah, I saw it. I was there. Yeah, if you don't know about the flag raising on Mount Suribachi, see what happened was they did it, but the cameras weren't rolling, and so the guy from Stars and Stripes like, that was awesome. Now you need to do that with the camera on. Let me turn on the camera and do that again. All right. So actually, they put up a flag and they saw it, and then they're like, "Oh, that's great." But everyone in America didn't see that because we weren't filming it. All right, hang on. And so they got another flag, a bigger flag, and they said, "All right, 3, 2, 1, go! Put the flag back up." And they did. And those guys, when that became, iconic, and it inspired the American people, and they're like, "Hey, look at this victory!" And it was the Battle for Iwo Jima was a mother fletcher. I think more Marines died in 2 days on Iwo Jima than have died during the entire GWAT. It was a lot. So, and those guys and the survivors, Ira Hayes and the other guys, they went out, they toured them around the country, and everybody shook their hands and everything and so forth. And I believe that this dude here, that Keller, is the last survivor. If I am not mistaken, I believe he's the last one. So if that is the case, then that's pretty significant. Anyway, so thank you very much to our buddies at Brownells for partnering, obviously, with Henry to do that. That's a very cool thing. It's nice to do something for America in this world where
America
people don't want to, where we have communists in our government. Yeah. Oh no. No.
What?
Hang on a second. No, he died. Crap, he died. That's why they're doing a memorial. Yeah. So he's not the last survivor. I thought there was one survivor left. I thought
he was the last of the survivors.
There was one left.
Yeah.
But anyway,
for some reason, I thought he was the last.
Des Moines Register did a story 4 days ago. Pi Keller, Iowan, who raised flag in Iwo Jima, will be getting a memorial. An Iowan captured, as and so forth. 74 years later, Marine identified as member of the famous flag raising Corporal Harold Pi Keller of Brooklyn, Iowa, survived the war, returned home. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, so there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check out that story yourselves. And thank you, obviously, for our buddies at Brownells and Henry. And you know what's crazy is, you remember my story about meeting Anthony Imperato, about running into him on the street?
Oh, yeah.
In where? What state was I in?
Weren't you in Louisiana?
No, Iowa. I was in Des Moines.
That's right, yeah.
I was in Des Moines.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you were... So I thought that was the... Yeah.
He's actually from Brooklyn, the New York one.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
And I'd known him for years.
No sleep.
Shot shows and NRAs and stuff. And I walked out of my hotel onto the street in Des Moines, Iowa, and he was walking towards me on the sidewalk. That was just one of those moments, like, do what now?
It's like, hey, you look familiar.
Do what? What? There's no shot show underneath your feet. I don't...
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. You're not in a booth.
Cannot.
But I don't recognize you without a booth under you. Anyway, so that very cool. Check out Brownells at brownells.com. Sign up for their newsletter or text BRN to 556-223. There you go.
Know one of my favorite things about the BRN to 556-223?
Mm-hmm.
I have two favorite things. One, I get email notifications immediately, and two, they don't text me every single day.
Nope.
They just send it when it's important.
Spam you. They like whenever something like, hey, truck just pulled up out back, they're unloading ammo, you're the first to know. Go. All right, Duracoat. Why? Because life is too short
to have an ugly gun.
Absolutely. Life is too short to have an ugly gun. No more ugly guns. Kind of like our no more naked guns. But that's totally a different thing. We never were able to do a naked guns thing. But You could just go the simple route, the naked gun with the no over it. You know, you could do that. That would be really simple. And then people would be like, what? When were that actually would be a cool patch, Jared, because it would make people think. They'd have to stop and say,
Do what?
Do what? No, I don't get it. And then you'd explain it to them, and they're like, oh, that makes sense. So, but check out Duracode at DuracodeFirearmFinishes.com and enroll in the university today. SWAT Fuel has 9mm plus P for those of you who need a kick in your rump, and they've got it right now in stock. So if you want some, order it. Use the promo code SOTG. All right. Moving on. It is time for, according to the clock on the wall, a Student of the Gun Homeroom, which is, as always, brought to you by our good friends at Crossbreed Holsters. Boom, do. Every week I have to do this. The promo code, if you would like to order a holster and save money from Crossbreed, and I believe this applies to everything that they sell at crossbreedholsters.com, belts, magazine pouches, holsters, chest rigs, whatever. Just type in SOTG at checkout. You're going to save money. You're going to be a happy camper. There you go. And we'll be happy campers because that means that Crossbreed will know that you, my audience, are listening and paying attention, which helps. All right, we were going to talk about this story last week, but we just quite frankly ran out of time. Armed employee stops kidnapping. Jared, as this happened in your own backyard, I will allow you to detail or give the deets.
Yep. This is from May 27th, 2021. It says armed school employee stops attempted kidnapping of 11-year-old girl from playground, Utah police say. This was in Ogden, Utah, which I spend quite a bit of time in now. An armed school employee in Utah held off an attempted kidnapping suspect at gunpoint until officers arrived. The incident occurred Tuesday when a man grabbed an 11-year-old girl at Lincoln Elementary School's playground in Ogden. Police say he tried to pull her away until the school employee demanded he leave. The man let the girl go, and the employee took all the children inside, then produced a gun and held the man off when he punched a window in an apparent attempt to force his way inside. Jeez.
You should have smoked that dude.
The worker
as soon as that dude busted through the window.
The worker called 911, and the man was arrested on suspicion of attempted child kidnapping.
Suspicion.
Police say the employee was a concealed weapons permit and has a concealed weapons permit. And
he was a permit
and possessed the gun lawfully. Police identified the suspect as 41-year-old Ira Cox-Berry. No attorney was immediately listed for him in court documents. No connection was found between the suspect and the girl. Just some random dude trying to kidnap an 11-year-old girl.
Rando psycho.
And good on you, whoever the armed school employee was. Good job.
But, Jared, hang on a second.
Doesn't work.
Shannon and her sandwich makers said that guns have no place in schools.
Yeah.
And signs. We need more signs and more laws and more regulations because guns have no place in our schools.
Yep.
Aren't you glad that people don't listen to Shannon and Nanny Bloomberg's favorite call girl and her sandwich makers? That people actually do the right thing? It's amazing. Amazing what happens when people stop being afraid of liberal lunatics and just do the right thing and are dangerous on demand. This guy gets the Student of the Gun Dangerous on Demand Award, which looks like this. No, Zach, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you have enough things to keep you busy?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm going to give you one more. Next time when you have a free moment, when you're sitting on your squatty potty or whatever, come up with and think about a Dangerous on Demand award winner, a recipient, and we will start issuing the Dangerous on Demand. Oh, I'm doing this. Remember when James does this and people like literally
they're like,
crap. Yeah, don't point that at me. Don't point that at me. Ah. Yeah, come up with we need to come up with a dangerous on demand award winner.
You put your finger on the trigger.
You know why?
Oh my
I
God.
made the conscious decision to dry fire.
Oh no.
Like Brother Jay said, I am dry firing. Go.
No.
No one died. All right.
Lord.
So good job. Good job. And thank the Lord for sense. If this would have been someplace
about
California
dollars?
or New York, that girl probably would have been gone. If this would have been one of those states where they're like, guns have no business, and we voted, and we don't even care if they're licensed or trained or anything. We don't want guns around our children. But what if the gun is used to save a child? That never happens.
I'd like to know what transpired in between the grabbing of a girl and then what made the man decide to let the girl go, because there wasn't a gun produced until after.
I don't know, man.
I'd be interested to know.
It's kind of crazy, but the part about where he got all the kids in school, closed the door, and the dude tried to smash in.
Yeah.
You're like, well, you just can't shoot someone. Actually, what are you defending? Are you defending you, or are you defending the lives of the innocent children? That's a good question. And if this guy if you're the armed guy and you decide, I'm going to point the gun at him, but I'm not going to shoot him. What if he disarms you? Then who's protecting the kids? Well, no one. Well, there you go. And that's something else I'm just going to do a real quick aside on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're carrying a gun, you need to understand this. You have the duty, not the suggestion. It's a different word. You have the duty and the obligation to prevent your gun from falling into the hands of someone who should not have it. And if if you're a dude who's armed and a dude grabs you, punches you, knocks you to the ground, and is on top of you, smashing your skull into the thing, you're like, well, I can't shoot him because I don't, he doesn't have a gun in his hand. What's going to happen after he successfully smashes your skull into the asphalt, then takes the gun off of you and goes and kills innocent people? I never thought about that. Yeah. It's your responsibility to prevent that your gun, the one you're carrying, from falling into the hands of someone who shouldn't possess it. So you need to understand that. You have to understand that. And that's another thing. If someone's in the middle of committing a robbery or an attempted kidnapping or whatever, and you pull out your gun, you yell stop, and they charge into and attack you, let me tell you what they're not going to do. They're not going to take your gun, run away, and go squirrel hunting tomorrow. If they get your gun out of your hand, they're going to immediately kill you with it, and then they're going to kill other innocent people. That's how it works. When I went to the police academy 30 years ago, that was one of the things that they hammered into our heads. They're like, here's the deal. If someone attacks you and attempts to disarm you, they're not doing it to make the fight fair or so that they can take your gun, run away, and go shoot squirrels next week. They're taking the gun off of you so that they can kill you with it. And then after they've killed you, they're going to take that same gun and go kill other people. You cannot, under any circumstances, ever allow your gun to be surrendered. That's why, Jared and Zach, it drives me absolutely up the freaking walls when these Hollywood R-tards, when these Hollywood F-tards produce television shows where the cop's like, okay, all right, I'm going to set my gun down. All right, all right. I'm setting my gun down now. Okay, I set my gun down. Now let's. That actually happened in real life in Ohio. Remember we told that story, Jared?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, a female police officer did that. Was confronting a subject who was walking around town, a community around a neighborhood, indiscriminately firing a rifle into houses. And she got the drop on him, and he pointed his gun at her, and she pointed hers at him. And she said, drop your gun. And he said, no, you drop yours. And she's like, okay, well, we can talk. So she set her gun down. He walked up to her, shot her right through the neck, paralyzed her.
That sucks.
Yep. And then she lived the rest of her life before she died in a wheelchair. We don't do that. And you say, well, that's police. That's not people. No. If you're carrying a gun, it's your responsibility never, ever, ever to allow that gun to fall in the hands of somebody who shouldn't have it. So there you go. All right. That is our armed employee stops kidnapping topic of the week here, our dangerous on demand. And that kind of falls right into what we're going to talk about right now. Woo. So the main story of the day, finally. Yeah, there we go. Congratulations. So we got a story from emoland.com, and it was dated June 17th, 2021. So it's not brand new, but pretty darn new to you. So what do we got here, J-Rod?
FPC applaud Texas Governor Greg Abbott for signing constitutional carry. This is posted June 17th, 2021. It says the Firearms Policy Coalition announced that Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed the FPC-supported HB 1927 into law enacting constitutional carry, i.e. permitless carry, in the Lone Star State. Texas is now the 21st state to enact such legislation. That's 21 states. That's pretty good.
21!
Under the new law, which takes effect on September 1st, Texans aged 21 and older will no longer need a license to carry, either open or concealed, though individuals must be legally eligible to possess handguns and cannot have been convicted in the last 5 years for misdemeanor bodily assault causing injury, deadly conduct, terroristic threats, or disorderly conduct.
Ooh, disorderly is a boo.
Is that like a generic?
Yeah. Oh, dude, disorderly is like an M4. Boo. Weak. Boo.
Carry licenses will still be available to eligible individuals who wish to acquire a license for various purposes, such as compliance with federal law prohibiting firearm possession in school zones. This victory especially belongs to the dedicated and tireless grassroots activists on the ground who poured their time and energy into this effort, said FPC Director of Advocacy, Rocco Preglowski. FPC is proud to stand with the people of Texas through our direct and grassroots efforts to support the passage and enactment of HB 1927. And while this victory is a significant one, we must now get back to work on many serious issues facing gun owners throughout the nation, including our efforts to oppose the ATF's unconstitutional and unlawful proposed firearm receiver and pistol brace regulations, as well as further efforts to bring constitutional carry to all states and territories. Rock on.
Rock on.
I saw a headline that I didn't get to read the story for. Quick aside, and then I'll get back to the story. But
okay.
I saw this headline. I didn't get to read about it, but I saw something about representative introducing legislation.
Oh,
I think
ban the ATF. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's that woman who was just on fire. Yep.
Okay.
How much time we got left in the show?
It's 11 o'clock, so probably like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. All right. You go ahead and talk, Jared, and I'll look that up.
Sweet. As we've stated before, this essential legislation represents a historic achievement and landmark victory, restoring a more robust right to bear arms for tens of millions of people in the Lone Star State. Commented FBC President Brandon Combs. The legislature's passage and Governor Abbott's enactment of this legislation is another powerful example of the nationwide movement toward restoring the full right to keep and bear arms and making the exercise of that right accessible to all. The expansion of constitutional carry throughout the United States is one of FPC's strategic objectives, so our team and members will continue working toward the enactment of legislation to expand human liberty and promote freedom. Man, those are some good statements.
There you go. I wonder though. It says you can't constitutional carry if you've had a disorderly conduct charge. Let me tell you, as somebody who's a cop, disorderly conduct it's like a catch-all. It's like, well, he was doing this, and then he said, if I stand on a city street and I yell, "F you, mother effer," right? I can get cited for disorderly conduct. You're like, what? Yep. If it's in the presence of other people who would be offended, and I stand on the city street and yell, "F you, mother effers," and I at traffic, right? I could get a disorderly conduct arrest. You're like,
shouldn't have been doing stupid things.
Shouldn't it? Yeah, you shouldn't have done that, man. But anyway, so congratulations, yes, once again, to the guys, to the people of Texas. And this has been a long time coming. And we've said this for years. I said, look, Texas needs more Texas. They need more Texas in Texas. But Jared and I were talking before. It was some East Coast imbecile posted a dire warning last night about no, in Texas you don't have to, there's no background checks or anything to buy a gun because it's permitless.
Yeah, there was a picture that I saw scrolling
Word
through social
meme.
media.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where I see that I'm like, please be fake, please be
No,
just
it was
somebody joking, and then it turns out that
that's how people think. It's kind of like, well, it's where people get that from, Jared.
Get what?
Hollywood. They get that mentality that all guns have to be registered.
Oh yeah,
and that you have to have a permit to buy a gun.
Yeah, I was watching the cop show that I like to watch, and it's just mind candy for me at the end of the day. After I've done my reading and whatnot, I just sit down and I'm like, I want to veg on something. So I watch this cop show, and it's of course it's based in LA because that's where the studios are.
Is it the Rockford Files?
No, it's something. It's I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. The Rookie is what it's called.
Okay.
Because I watched a show called Castle about this writer guy that ended up consulting with the local police to like write his book for his book, research. And then the same dude that played Castle is in this show too.
Is it Nathan Fillion?
I have no clue.
Okay.
Maybe, probably. Who knows?
Sure.
I'm like, Mom, is that the brown thing? But
brown one.
Yeah. Anyway, so that dude was in this show too. So I'm like, I want to watch it because I liked his character. But all of the stuff that happens, like with guns and whatnot, like when they make a traffic stop, they're like, this person has a gun in the car, but they have an unlicensed gun and all this other stuff. And then it's one of those things where as a gun person that knows things about guns,
as a human who's intelligent,
you're like, oh, come on, like I enjoy this show. Can you stop injecting politics into it, please?
Well, you know what I've started watching, and we've talked about this before, but how does someone go on in a panic onto social media and say, in Texas, you don't have to you can just buy a gun without a background check, and oh my God, because of permitless carry. Well, why are there people who aren't gun people out there in the world think that you have to get a permit from the government to buy a gun? Well, because Hollywood TV shows, Hollywood movies, I hope that gun's registered. I hope that you have a permit for that. Something that's funny because when you said that, I think it's one of the services. They've got the Rockford Files with James Garner, which aired in 1974. And I'm really enjoying watching it for two reasons. Number one, because it's kind of nostalgia for me, because I remember my parents watching it when I was a little kid, and I remember that coming on and the theme song and everything. But the other one is the television show was made before the current politically correct era. before Hollywood writers decided that every show they write has to push an agenda. Right? We have to push the gay agenda. We have to push the global warming agenda. We have to push the gun control agenda. Whatever's hip and current, whatever the liberal agenda is today, we've even in sitcoms, they do that. They like, wow, global warming and save the planet. And the great thing about 70s TV, none of that is there. There's no gay agenda. There's no left-wing freaking eco-terrorist agenda. There's none of that. It's just a show. But it is in L.A., and it takes place in California.
I'll have to watch that.
So, Jim Rockford, he's got a revolver, and he goes to his office / house, and his dad's there, and he comes in late at night, and his dad meets him at the front door with a gun in his hand. He says, "Dad, what are you doing?" He goes, "You don't have a permit for," he goes, "You have a permit for that?" And Rockford says, "I don't have a permit for it either," and takes it out of his hand and sticks it in the desk drawer because he doesn't carry it. He just keeps it in the desk drawer because that's what you do. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I looked it up, and it's Marjorie Taylor.
Hold on a second. I don't want to stray too far, but I do want to make sure that we acknowledge FPC for doing this
Firearms
stuff.
Policy Coalition.
Firearms Policy Coalition. They're putting forth the effort and helping people get the resources to do this kind of stuff, whether it be lawyer fees or legal fees or legal expertise or whatever. They're helping organize this stuff, and it all is done in a grassroots manner. So if you're a local person, if you want to join the FPC and help with your local community, then join it. Go to joinfpc.org. You can get all the information.
FPC and SAF, the Second Amendment Foundation, and the Firearms Policy Coalition, doing good work. And that other 3-letter organization, I'm surprised. They have a tendency to jump in and claim credit.
Yeah.
For things. Like they'll jump in and they'll say, the NRA in, oops, I said the name.
Duh.
They'll say
the
Derp endorsed bill passed. So the Second Amendment Foundation will go in and they'll file a motion with the court, and then the court will find in favor of the American citizen, and then they'll say, we endorse that. Well, yeah, but you didn't file it. Well, no, we endorsed it though. And they put out press releases, and they're like, the Derp endorsed bill, or the Derp endorsed, lawsuit was successful.
I'd be interested to know the inner workings of that. Do they endorse it by sending money to the foundation that's fighting, or is it just literally an endorsement that has
we gave them a thumbs up. We said, you go, man. No, they did. They actually, they did that recently. The Second Amendment Foundation filed the motion and did all the work and everything, and they got the judge's approval, and that organization jumped in there like, we are really happy that this happened, and we endorse this. And guys second are like, you effers. Yeah, you attention hog.
Hopefully by endorsing it, they sent people to donate money.
Hopefully. All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That's the chick.
What is it about modern America where we've got women that have more guts and courage and huevos than grown-ass adult men? What is going on? But that seems to be the case. I'm glad she wasn't a heavyweight MMA fighter. She probably would have gone and apologized.
If she was a heavyweight dude.
Yeah, if she was a heavyweight dude, she'd have been like, if she was a professional wrestler, she'd have been like, I'm sorry for ever questioning your methods.
Yep. This is from June 17th, 2021. Marjorie Taylor Greene
brand new.
To abolish the ATF, decries war on gun owners. Georgia Republican Congresswoman, a congressperson.
Congresswoman.
Get it right. Marjorie Taylor Greene is looking to get rid of the Bureau, BATFE, MOUSE, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or is it Alcohol, Firearms, and Tobacco? Not really.
I don't know. It's AFT because I don't want
FAT.
FAT, the FAT, the fat.
Yeah, fat chance. In an effort to protect gun owners from a tyrannical, power-hungry group of bureaucrats.
She's absolutely correct. It's
Green,
undeniable.
who is a staunch advocate for Second Amendment rights, introduced legislation on Thursday that would abolish the ATF and repeal regulations and guidance issued after August 2020. The legislation comes as Republicans push back on Dave Chipman, President Joe Biden's nominee to the head of the ATF, who they see as a threat to the right to own firearms.
He's
Any smart anybody that's watched any of the what is it, the hearing, but I don't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. Anybody that's watched any of that
confirmation hearings,
that's what I was looking for. Yeah, they would also agree. The legislation, as reported by the Dade Caller, would abolish the ATF 6 months after the bill is enacted. It would also require the President Joe Biden to inform every employee of the ATF in writing of the abolishment date. Along with the ATF, with making the ATF a defunct agency, Green's legislation would set up an auction for the firearms and ammunition the ATF confiscated. Green's looking to use the proceeds from the auction to create a fund for families of Border Patrol officers killed in the line of duty.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. After December 1st, 2009, after providing grants of up to $150,000 per family affected, remaining funds would go to states who establish firearm safety programs. I'm introducing legislation to eliminate the ATF to protect all gun owners across the country from a tyrannical, power-hungry group of bureaucrats whose goal is to destroy our Second Amendment rights.
Can't argue with her there. She's 100% right.
While announcing her intent to introduce the legislation, Green criticized Chipman, who supports a ban on an AR-15 rifle. Green called it a clear indication that the ATF's war on gun owners is about to crank up.
Yep.
Chipman, who worked for the ATF for decades, left the agency in 2012 and joined Giffords, a gun violence prevention group named after former Representative Gabby Giffords, who was shot in a Tucson, Arizona supermarket in 2011. While he supports the ban, which Biden also backs, Chipman said he would only enforce the laws on the books right now if he was confirmed, noting that there's no such ban on those guns.
Sure.
His advocacy work for stricter gun laws earned high praise from gun violence prevention organizations and some legislators.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the deal. This guy would be the head of an unelected bureaucracy. But what do we know about that unelected bureaucracy? That they have a history and a track record of attempting to govern through what? We just spent a whole entire day last week talking to Alex Bosco. This idea that the ATF's like, oh, no, we're only going to enforce. First of all, you're not a freaking enforcement agency. You're a tax collection agency. Can we get that straight? Why do we need an ATF if we have an FBI? Why do we have an ATF if we have state police and county sheriffs and local police? Why do we need an ATF if there is an FBI? FBI's job is supposed to take care of interstate crime, right? The ATF is a tax collection agency. They're a bureaucracy that was illegally created in the 30s by FDR in order to give jobs to the failed Bureau of Prohibition. When the prohibition agents were all about to be fired, we're like, well, we have all these government employees. We got to come up with jobs for these guys. And we can't just give up all the power that we gained through prohibition. Go back and listen to my lesson on how prohibition gave the federal government more power than it had ever had in its existence. Like, well, here's what we'll do. We'll pass this law, and then we'll create this new bureau. And all the revenuers, all the guys who used to work for the Bureau of Prohibition, which is now defunct because the American people finally said no, stop. We'll just shift them over to this new organization, and they'll continue to have jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, the ATF is a corrupt and criminal organization. It is a corrupt bureaucracy, and it has been since its creation. There is no constitutional authority for an ATF, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is right on, and she's shining a spotlight on those cockroaches, and we applaud her for it. All right, that's it. Tomorrow is Thursday, and then Friday is Friday. Well, tomorrow will be Thursday and Friday will be Friday. So we're going to have bonus hours for the grad program members on Thursday and on Friday. Maybe we'll talk about Squatty Potty. Maybe we'll talk about gray wolves. I don't know. We'll find out. But if you'd like to join us, Jared will tell you how simple and easy it is for you to join us on Thursday and Friday.
Super easy. Go to getsotg.com.
And follow the instructions to sign up. That's it. All right, freaks and freakettes. Thank you very much for joining us for Student of the Gun Radio. I'm your host, Paul Markle. And remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.